Welcome back to Ferris Sports Update. Time to check in with Bulldog Soccer and joined by head coach Greg Henson. And Coach, welcome to the show.
Great to be here.
You know, obviously, we talked to you last week. A great start with a couple wins the first weekend, but this past weekend obviously had to go on the road. And for some of the kids, kind of like football, first time on the road as a Bulldog.
Yeah, I think first time for this group as a team, first time for all of our freshmen, even some of our redshirt freshmen to get a chance to travel and play in a new environment. And so there's always some, learning opportunities in those type of situations. And it's good to get on the road before we enter GLIAC play here this weekend. And hopefully we learn some valuable lessons from our results this week and can put that good foot forward going forward.
Before we get into some of those highlights, maybe talk about these opponents, obviously regional teams and the types of teams that will prepare you well for the start of conference play.
Yeah, I mean, we played Findlay on Friday and then Ashland on Sunday. So Ashland was a rematch of the first round national tournament game from last year where we tied them 1-1 and then ended up beating them in penalties to advance on in the postseason. And Findlay was a regional bubble team, so they were just on the outside looking in from last year's national tournament. So, you know, both top 10 regional opponents, and really will prepare us well as we get started with GLIAC play this weekend, and we'll start off at down in Allendale against Grand Valley. So, you know, a great measuring stick for us and give us an opportunity to see some things that we can work on over the next few days to get ready for conference play. As
we go to Friday's contest at Findlay, you mentioned it before we went on the air, different type of playing surface, at least in terms of the size.
Yeah, smaller field, grass field, and it rained a lot on Friday morning, so it was slick, and they got a men's soccer program as well, and so the field was a little bit beat up already early in the year. But those type of things do play a role, but not in the outcome of the game. So we have to deal with and adjust to the playing conditions. Findlay was, very defensive-minded in this match. Really wanted to make sure they got numbers behind the ball. Really kind of take away a lot of the things that we try to do offensively. And did a good job with that. Did a good game plan. And I think in the second half, Findlay was very content with coming out of there with a draw and a result against us. I think that has to do a little bit with the national ranking that we brought into the game, and so kind of made the game a little bit, lack of flow, I guess, if you will, in the match at the end as they were trying to kill and waste some time, and like I said, they had a good game plan and it worked out for them.
You mentioned that ranking, number 4 in the country last week, the highest ranking in school history, and that with what you guys did last year, you're certainly going to get everyone's best shot.
Yeah, we knew that going in. Everybody's going to come in. Everyone wants to get a result. Everyone wants to prove a point against us, in different ways. And we knew on Sunday, Ashland wanted to measure a revenge with us knocking them out of the tournament last year. And we've had some really good battles with them over the course of the season. So definitely something we're going to face. Even though now we're probably going to drop, if not drop out, but it's still going to be something that we'll have to contend with just because of what we did last season.
Obviously, you wanted to score some goals here in this contest, but maybe talk about the play of the defense, pitching a shutout.
Yeah, the defense did a great job, and really gave us opportunities to stay in the match. There wasn't really a whole lot of goal scoring opportunities either way, right? They had a couple opportunities. We had a couple opportunities. It was really a midfield battle, and I think both teams did a great job defensively. Our back line was strong. Daria was good in the net. And so allowed us to preserve the point, if you will, to get the draw.
0-0, the final score of that contest is you get the first one behind you, and obviously another day of preparation before you took on a very good opponent in Ashland, another nationally ranked team.
Yeah, so obviously they were 16, so we knew they were going to be a good program, knew they were going to be tough for us, and I thought we had a good game plan going into it. Thought we were prepared for the match, and really, the scoreline doesn't reflect, how well we played in different segments of the game. They had some opportunities and some mistakes that we made to create some chances for them, and they took those chances well. And then we just, weren't good enough in the final third and just didn't create enough opportunities for ourselves. So there's certain segments of the game we were very good in, but the pivotal one in terms of putting the ball in the back of the net, we failed in those opportunities all weekend, and that's why we walk home with a loss and a tie on the road.
Obviously, as we see taking on Ashland here in this contest on Sunday, your team had a chance to go to the football game the night before, and what type of an experience was that? Yeah,
it's great for our players. And anytime that we're going to be on the road in the same venue as some other Bulldog athletic teams, we try to get out and support them. It was a great night. I think going into it, we kind of probably had the hopes or the plans that we would be able to get out of there a little bit earlier, seeing that watching football put that game away. But Ashland football had a great game themselves, and it ended up being a great game to watch, and we stuck it out and watched that match. And early on, I thought we played really well in the beginning of the first half. Had some great opportunities. Did a great job of possessing the ball. Just the final pass, the final look, the final shot, and just didn't come our way. And then Ashland's going to get a goal here. We fail to clear a set piece, and the ball falls to one of their players who puts an unbelievable strike into an upper 90. And all of a sudden, we find ourselves down 1-0, kind of against the run of play in the first half. And then obviously Ashland's able to tack on a few in the second half. But there's a lot of positives to take away from this. I'm not a big moral victory guy by any means, but there are some positives we can take away from this as we get ready for GLIAC play this week.
Obviously, Ashland, a former GLIAC school, this kind of a nice rivalry that has been able to continue here in regional action. Yeah,
it has, and we've made a point of getting them on the schedule. They're a great test for us early in the year. We know they're going to do well, especially down in the GMAC, and they're favored to win it this year. So it's always going to be a top 10 regional opponent for us, and we kind of have a multi-year deal arranged with Caleb down at Ashland, and hopefully we can keep this rivalry going.
Obviously, we mentioned first road trip for some of your players, and really this the type of game that you hope you get a chance to play in later in the year.
Yeah, and I mean, I think really our first 4 games really, kind of had the feel of a lot of them with playoff type intensity that you don't always get early in the season. So, we only played 4 games. We're young in the season. We're 2-1-1 right now on the schedule. But I feel like we're in a great spot moving forward to build off of this. And so it can be kind of a crossroads moment, coming off of a tough loss. But really, we got to look at the next match, the next game, prepare for Grand Valley, and let's go out and get a result against them on Friday.
You mentioned Grand Valley, obviously the first conference game on the road Friday night, and then at Davenport coming up later on in the weekend, and 2 tough opponents here to kind of start the conference schedule.
Yeah, GV's the rival, right? So that's going to be a good game. I don't think it matters what the records are or whatever else. It's going to be two teams that are going to go out and battle hard. And then Davenport, like a lot of the rest of the GLIAC, is playing really well this year. So our conference is always very tough in soccer. And this year, if you look at the records, I think out of the 8 schools in the GLIAC that sponsor women's soccer, we only have 1 school under 500 right now. So the GLIAC is just getting tougher, and that'll be the case when we play Davenport on Sunday.
Well, Coach, thanks for the time, and best of luck as you start GLIAC play here this weekend.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more Ferris Sports Update right after this.